Alright, in this video, I am going to rank every single ride in Disneyland and California Adventure. I have ridden every ride you can ride, with the exception of one. It won't be on the list, but otherwise, I have ridden the other 52 rides, made sure I checked all of them off the list, and now I'm going to present to you a fully ranked list. This list does not include attractions that you don't actually ride something, like Mr. Lincoln, or the Shooting Gallery, or this or that, you know. Those are not included. I have done those too, but I'm only including stuff that you physically ride on a thing. So to tell you a little bit about my tastes in rides, I tend to favor thrill. I like, rides that get me excited, have some, fast speed and some intensity. I do love kitschy stuff too. But if I had to choose between the two, I will favor thrill. You'll clearly see that in the ranking. I've also divided the rides into tiers. We have D tier, C tier, B tier, A tier, and S tier. So I think some of these are gonna make some people mad, especially some purists. And my history with the parks is I've, had the annual pass, and now I have one of those stupid keys. I am a pretty dedicated to Disneyland attendee, so I'm out for violence today. I'm out to stir some trouble. Let's do it. So these are all rides in D tier. Rides that are, for me, pretty skippable. Number 52. Ooh, it's gonna make people mad. The monorail. I'm sorry. The monorail's cool and all, but it is a tool for me to get to the park. I know there's history, blah, 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 blah. It's a monorail. Number 51, Gadget's Go Coaster. I like that there's still a coaster for Rescue Rangers. That's kind of insane that it's stayed around that long. However, the ride lasts about 3 seconds long. Good thing about it is it still has Tress MacNeille's, little voice clip in it. I think that's cute. And that it's Gadget from Rescue Rangers. It's crazy that this is stuck around. But I'm sorry, it's a kiddie coaster. It's got almost nothing ride-wise on it. Number 50, Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind. I'm just not a big Inside Out guy. First off, I think the movie's alright. It's just kind of like a whoop-de-doo. The music's not bad. Number 49, Jumpin Jellyfish. Again, this one's really, really for little kids, so I'm going to cut it some slack, but yeah, it's just, a power tower for ants. That's about it. Number 48, Jessie's Critter Carousel. I do like the Woody's Roundup theme. I think the music is the best part of this ride. I also love the silly little animals you can ride. The backwards facing skunk is the best one. I will admit, if there's no wait time on it, we'll ride it just for fun, because it's fun to take pictures on, like any carousel. But otherwise, it's pretty low priority. Number 47. This is one a lot of people don't like, but Finding Nemo's Submarine Voyage. I mean, I don't really like it that much either because it's still in D tier. It's very slow. You're very cramped in a smelly submarine. I like the effects of the Nemo characters. It's also been closed for forever because of COVID. So maybe it's just I haven't ridden it in so long. I'm kind of nostalgic almost. Oh man, see, this list is changing all the time. So you know what, Jessie's Critter Carousel right now in the video is going up, and Finding Nemo, let's move it down. Anyway, it's slow and cramped. I think I just haven't ridden it in a while. So the new 47 is Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. I actually really don't like this ride at all. It is janky, the guns barely work, it's not very fun. The Toy Story Midway Mania outclasses this now. There's no reason for this ride anymore now that the Toy Story Midway Mania exists. The best part of this ride is the scary Buzz animatronic at the front. I like that. That's creepy. The actual ride, for considering wait time for it, it's just no good. Number 45, Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Great ride for kids. Now, I don't really need to ride it. I'd rather ride, the better version, which is the Astro Orbiter. Number 44, the King Arthur Carousel. Carousels are cute. They're always fun to take photos on, but, It's a carousel. And the fact that there's not really a theme on it makes it a little blah for me. 43, the Storybook Land Canal boats. Again, very charming. A lot of these are really kid-oriented rides, so it makes sense. Like, it's not from, I'm not the demographic. I like the little models of the Disney stuff. There was one time I rode this ride and the audio didn't work, so we just sat in silence. I think that experience kind of also made it go, wow, without the narration, you're really just sitting here looking at these models, huh? Number 42, the Main Street vehicles. I think they're charming, but however, they take you a very short distance, an easily walkable distance. So while I like, riding like a cool little thing and kind of getting the sights, it doesn't take you very far, and it kind of is over as soon as it starts. There are better rides that give you, travel around the park that I think are more interesting. Number 41 is the Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure. For a dark ride, this one's alright, just kind of like Haunted Mansion, but Little Mermaid. These ones where you just kind of go through the story of the movie and are cute, but ultimately I'm not like dying to ride these, I do like the shell things you ride, and I think those are cute, but otherwise, I'll mention now, the ride that is not on this list is technically the trolley in California Adventure, because it has been closed forever, and I just never got a chance to ride it. So that would technically be, if I had to guess where that would be, it would probably be tied with Main Street vehicles. Now let's move on to C tier. These rides are all like not bad, and in fact there are some of these that I even like. In a typical Disney day, all skippable. I'll hit them up every now and then, especially if the ride times are low, but definitely not rides I gotta go out of my way to do. Number 40 is Snow White's Enchanted Wish. Again, another ride that you just go through the movie. They changed the ride, and now it's like less sudden and spooky at the end, because at the end, it used to be it just kind of ended, and you're like, what? But now they have this whole another sequence, and it's nice, but I actually like that in the original ride, it ends so abruptly, and you're like, what, the ride's done. It's like the end, and it's almost funny. So that's actually brought it down for me. Number 39 is Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. Yeah, I love Roger Rabbit, and driving the car is kind of fun, but there's not a whole lot going on here. And again, it's another one you're going through. The queue for it is pretty fun, like going through like the creepy Toontown alleys. But yeah, I'm not gonna go out of my way to ride Roger Rabbit too often. Number 38 is Alice in Wonderland. You're gonna see a pattern here. A lot of these are older, dark rides that I respect. I don't think they're bad rides, but I'm not gotta go get them. I think this one is lower on the list because I like some of the spookier ones, and this one is pretty just standard fare. Kind of like on par with Snow White. 37 is Pinocchio's Daring Journey. This one's slightly up because it has like, Pleasure Island and some, it's a little darker. I like these darker themed dark rides. I love Pinocchio too. It's one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. And I think that also helps. But yeah, as a ride, it's not bad. Number 36 is the Disneyland Railroad. Very charming. I love sitting on the train, going around. There are fun little segments of the track that are really nice to look at. But to be honest, I don't ride it too often just because it can like take a while to wait for it. But I do acknowledge that it's a good experience. 35 is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. This is gonna be sacrilege for some people. I know people that really like this ride. I like it. And it's probably one of my favorite of the standard dark rides because it's such a weird, obscure movie to pick. You go to hell, like it's really scary, like for like a dark ride for kids. I like that, so that elevates it above the others. But otherwise, it's pretty short. But definitely like one where Mr. Toad is like short. Yeah, I'll pop a Mr. Toad. 34 is the Golden Zephyr. This one is cute. If it went a little harder, a little longer. That's what she said. Then I might enjoy it more. But it's a little too brief. And kind of a mild experience. 33 is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Now, I have a weird attachment to this ride because We do ride this ride semi-often because usually the ride time is like 5 minutes. And I actually really like the set pieces in it. The rainy part, the heffalumps and woozles, you know. It also, a lot of the rides end with like Alice in Wonderland, Winnie the Pooh. They end with these weird like, wake up, Pooh! And there's these weird dreamlike sequences at the end. I love them. They're weird and kind of surreal. 32 is the Jungle Cruise. Again, maybe sacrilegious for some of you. The first time I rode Jungle Cruise, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Like, oh, it's so funny and charming. It's definitely one, though, that on subsequent rides, your experience can vary. Sometimes the joke-telling person is just speeding through it, going through the motions, and you can barely understand the jokes. Not every performance is going to be your magnum opus. If you already know the jokes and the person isn't even telling them well, it can really dampen the experience. That first experience, I thought it was so charming. It's gone down. And number 31 is Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. This is a very new ride to the park. It's fine. The technology is kind of cool with the web slinging. First off, your arms get fucking tired on that. And after riding it, I went, that was cool. Never really need to ride that ever again. Only interesting because of the technology. As an experience, pretty boring and tiring. So now we're at B tier. All of these are rides where if the wait time is short, I will gladly ride them, and I enjoy them quite a bit. Number 30, this one feels like it snuck on here, but Autopia. Autopia is a silly, janky little ride, and the problem with it is usually the ride times are too long for what it is. But if you can get on it in a short amount of time, I will say driving that car is fun. It is fun. It's a long ride. I like doing that one at night because you're just taking a nice little nighttime drive with your friend and down the roads, and I don't know, you really feel like you get like your ride time's worth. And the fact that you are actually controlling it is quite fun. So yeah, I don't know, it's stupid, but it's got a weird soft spot in my heart. 29 is one of the last rides I did, and it's Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes. I thought this was great. It does tire the shit out of your arms. You get a nice view of the park. You're actually paddling through. Like I said, this is like, and for me, at least when I rode it, the Disney employee, the cast member who was in charge of the canoes, was super sarcastic. It was really funny. Like why'd you pick this ride? Or, hey, pretend to smile. You're in view of the other park goers. Like, pretend you're having a good time. I don't know if it was just her or if that's the standard, but I thought it was hilarious. Like, I loved that. I liked the view. It's a unique experience. You're actually doing something. Like, forget Jungle Cruise. I would much rather do Explorer Canoes, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't know about or think, oh, no thank you. But I highly recommend it to everyone. You gotta do it at least once. It's fun. Number 28 is Luigi's Rollickin Roadsters. This is like a weird ride because it feels like you're in like a mating ritual of cars as they're like moving around to the music. But it's cute. Like, it's fun to even look at as you're waiting, seeing the cars move around in sequence. I like that sort of trackless kind of feel. It may not be my favorite Cars ride because some of the other ones are way higher, but it's still cute. Number 27 is Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue. I mentioned that a lot of these rides are just going through the movies, but this one is really nice to look at. Like, you've got all the cool Monster Town, the door sequence is great. It's really charming. I think just the production values helped. I never got to ride the original version of this, which was that like celebrity paparazzi ride. That sounded bizarre. But the Monsters Inc. one, it's really cute. And the queue is really fun too. Like, there's like fake ads in it and all that. So I think it helps that this one really wants you to feel like you are a citizen of, the monster town, like that you're in cabs and there's like a news bulletin. And yeah, it's full of charming details that I think really immerses you in it. 26 is the sailing ship Columbia. I love being on the pirate ship. It's fucking cool. And the cool experience is you get to, look around on the inside, walk around on deck, only beaten by 25, the Mark Twain Riverboat, which I just like the riverboat theme better. I also think it's a little more interesting, but both are pretty much the same. I just happen to like the riverboat a little bit more. 24 is Soarin' Around the World, and that includes the California version too. If I had to choose between them, I'd prefer the Around the World version. First off, you got your classic Patrick Warburton sort of announcement in the front. That's great. My only complaint is the ride is a little short, but as you're actually soaring through things, it's fun. You know, as a kid, I loved those sort of, you know, the seats are moving in the theater kind of experience, and this is like that to the next level. Yeah, if it were just a little bit longer, I think it would even be higher. 23 is the Mad Tea Party. This is just a solid, underrated ride. The line times are usually pretty manageable, and it's one where you get to choose how fast you want to go, and I love going fast on it. It's why my wife will never ride it with me. I love the music. I love at nighttime it's really pretty, and yeah, just going. I love spinning, and it's just a fun treat. Number 22 is the Astro Orbiter. I think a lot of rides on this list are like, you don't think about them, but when you ride them, you're like, this is pretty fun. I think for me, a lot of it is like, if there's an interactive element of like, hey, I'm controlling the height, I'm spinning the wheel, I'm doing this, you know, it makes it that much more fun. Astro Orbiter, you can go really high on that thing. You get a great view of the park, and going up and down by your control is really fun experience. Golden Zephyr wishes it was this. Golden Zephyr sucks compared to the Astro Orbiter. 21 is Star Tours. It's just fun. It's similarly to Soarin', you know, the sort of ride, you're sitting in a theater kind of experience. It's fun. I like that it's different segments sometimes. The ride time is usually short as hell too. So what's great is, even though there are now Star Wars rides that have outclassed it in technology, if you just see it's like a 5-minute wait or a walk-on Star Tour, it's like, yeah, hell yeah, go on there, have a fun little time, see what segments you get. It does feel immersive too, like the technology still holds up. Yeah, there's better Star Wars stuff, but Star Tours, I like that it's still there. I wonder how long it'll continue to be there, but I like that it's still there. All right, we are at A tier now. These are all rides that I really enjoy, and usually will ride most of them also on a typical day at the park. Number 20 is Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I don't have as much passion for as the other rides on this list, but it's just kind of up here because of the sheer technology. Animatronic, I forgot the character's name, I'm not a Star Wars guy. At the beginning is really impressive. The interactive element of, you know, hey, you go into the actual Falcon itself and you get to take photos, and now you go in and you have roles and one of you's the pilot. Being the pilot is super fun. The other ride parts are kind of whatever, you're just pressing a button or whatever, but getting to pilot it and feeling like you're part of a team and you get a score, and the simulation part is really cool, like the technology is great. Yeah, it really feels like you're in the fucking Millennium Falcon. I love that. 19 is Space Mountain. This is pretty low, I think, for some, you know, some people are like, what? That should be top 10. I'm gonna be controversial here. I don't like that it's dark. I enjoy the ride, and I feel like every time I ride it now, I enjoy it a little more. Oftentimes, you're just kind of sitting there, and you're just like, oh, you know, I like seeing stuff. And I get that you're supposed to feel like you're in space or whatever. I would love to ride. I've seen there are like people who have ridden that ride where the lights are on. That seems horrifying. I want to ride that. That'd be way more fun to me. This might be a little sacrilegious, but Space Mountain's a pretty low priority for me. Like, definitely not one. Like, I still think it's a good ride, but it's not one I need to ride every time. And in fact, it's only on here in A tier just because of its quality, but there's not a lot of attachment there for me. Number 18 is Toy Story Midway Mania. This has blown, you know, ass blasters out of the water. Like, the technology in this is super fun. Web slingers, fuck that. My arms are exhausted. And I also love Toy Story, so that helps. But yeah, really impressive technology, really fun, arcadey experience. That's the one I'm gonna ride if I want to do that sort of thing. Number 17 is It's a Small World. It's just a charming ride. Like, I actually like they have the little like hidden Disney characters in it. I'm sure some purists really hate that. I think it's cute. Like, this is a ride for, you know, for families. So, you know, I like sort of seeing it and like experiencing like, oh, it's super cutesy and it's maybe a little saccharine, but I enjoy it. It's also long too, which is nice. And sometimes if it's a hot day or if you're tired, It's a Small World is perfect for just resting your feet. It's air conditioned. and sometimes I take a nap, you know. It's great. 16 is Casey Jr. Circus Train. We have sort of a running thing where we love to do videos of us in the animal car just dancing to the song. But the music's so good. Like I love the Casey Jr. song. I love being locked in the animal cage, or the caboose is also a fun one to ride too. You know, if it didn't have the music, this would go down. But because of the music, the infectious music, the charm of like, oh, we're riding this cute little train, like, I don't know. I have a lot of fond memories of this ride, so that's why it's here. Number 15 is Peter Pan's Flight. Peter Pan's my favorite Disney movie. Well, not my favorite Disney movie, actually. Great Mouse Detective is, but one of my favorite Disney movies from childhood. And in terms of dark rides, this one's really cool because you really feel like you're flying above London and, you know, all that stuff. It's really pretty. What sucks though, and I think this would even be higher if I got to ride it more, is the wait times are always too long. Number 14 is the Silly Symphony Swings. I love this. One of my favorite rides as a kid in Mall of America was the kite eating tree. I forget what it's called now, in Mall of America in Minnesota. And this is just a better version of that. I love the music. I love swinging around and, you know, holding my arms out like a bird. Like it's just fun and freeing. This one unlocks a childlike glee in me, unlike anything else. Like it's very pure. Number 13. I think this is an underrated ride. Goofy Sky School. This is a little coaster, but the swinging around on this, you get fucking whipped around, and there are some good falls in it. Like, I'm amazed. Like it doesn't look like much when you look at it. Like, oh, it's gonna be like a little kiddie coaster, but it's got a couple good drops. Really whips you around. That's my favorite part, whipping you around at the edges. And the theme is fun too. It's just, you know, there's even like little details, like, you know, Goofy's like flight certificate, like failing flying school, and all these like little patents and stuff. Solid ride. I think super underrated. Number 12, on a similar note, is I think very underrated, and that's Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. This has the feel of like a classic like carnival ride. How far it whips you around, like back and forth, you're not going to be able to anticipate it by looking at it. It just looks like a kiddie ride. I love ramming into the person next to me, so I can only ride this with certain people. And usually they're of like-minded ilk, where they also want to be whipped like side to side. Like, this would be something like a ride that you would see at like Lester's Possum Park in Goofy movie. I love it. Number 11, the Matterhorn Bobsleds. A lot of people complain about this one because you can get, you know, pretty beat up on it. I love that. I love rides that feel like dangerous, you know, fair rides. And yeah, the insides are cool. I love the visuals inside. I love getting whipped around outside. It's a rickety ass ride. I think it's a great ride. And now, here are the S tier. My favorite rides in the park, the top 10 if you will. Just get down to it. Number 10 is the Incredicoaster. The only ride that's like a big roller coaster like you get in, like, you know, a Six Flags. And I love those kind of coasters. I like the music a lot. I love the little, you know, there are little effects, quote unquote, in the tunnels and things like that. And the Jack Jack, we always love quoting the Jack Jack. It has that great beginning where it's like 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, it's just, it's a blast. Number 9, I think, is a little underrated, is the Pixar Pal A Round, the Ferris wheel, specifically the swinging version. That delivers. If you've never ridden that, I've seen people's eyes just light up with fear. It's such a thrill when you first feel that sliding down as the thing starts to go back and forth. It's genuinely scary. I love it. I love to be scared. I love that feeling. I love the view as well. But that fear and watching other people's fear. Beautiful. Number 8, Pirates of the Caribbean. Classic. Like, animatronics are great. I love the drop at the beginning. My favorite part is the big ship battle where they're shooting at the fort with a cannonball splashing. When I first saw that, I was amazed. I was like, this is incredible. And there's so many fun details, you know. However, you will always get stuck on the part where the guys are shooting at each other and there's a crate. You will get stuck there. It will happen. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Well, I love the ride. it's always a ride that I fall asleep on. Like, not every time, but if I'm sleepy or if I'm tired, it's great because it's a long ride, so you get your weight's worth. But I am usually napping about the halfway point. Number 7, Haunted Mansion. The queue is great. The whole stretching, into it. The music, the narration, the effects, the animatronics, the giant, my favorite is still like the effect of the dancing ghosts, but like there's that big room with all the animatronics. It's overwhelming. Even the Nightmare Before Christmas version is inferior, but it's still cool. Like I like both, but the original is the way to go. In both versions, it's just top notch. Like, this is immersive. This is great. Yeah. Fantastic ride. Number 6 is Indiana Jones Adventure. In terms of thrills, it's not like a typical coaster ride, right? Like, it's more like you're getting shaken around, and there are the fun sequences. Like, I think the boulder effect is great. That big chamber with the torches that, where the music swells is amazing. We love the whole, like that sequence, ducking, pretending to duck. If you are lucky enough and get to be the driver and hold the steering wheel, it's so immersive. It really feels like you're driving this rickety car through these perils. We also have a fondness for the wait time video by what's his name, John Sala. I forget the actor's name offhand. Especially when it starts looping over and over again. Indiana Jones. That boulder. When I first saw that boulder, I was like, this is such a great effect. I love it. Of course, when the boulder effect works. Oftentimes it doesn't, but when it does, it's really cool. Number 5, Radiator Springs Racers. What a great ride. I think Cars Land is super underrated. The music, the animatronics are really impressive, and I don't give a shit about cars. Whole atmosphere of it, of going through the canyons, and then the fact that it's a race at the end, and it's a fast race too. Like, there's that fun element of like, yeah, let's beat the other guy, and you're zooming through, doing, like, it's a long ride, great presentation, animatronics, great speed. There's a reason why it's one of the most popular rides, and I really enjoy it a lot. Number 4, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Great little coaster. This one, to me, the peak version of this is if you can time it at night and you can see the fireworks while you're riding it. That is one of the best experiences you can get at Disneyland. If you can finagle it. It's hard to do, but it's great. With that said, the dynamite effects and the drops and stuff are really solid. Perfect ride to ride fireworks time. And just memories of that alone brings it up to a 4. Number 3, used to be number 2, but it's Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. The Halloween version is also very good, and I'm very impressed that they managed to do both versions in a single day. That's crazy to me. I love the original Tower of Terror. And I still think that ride's great, but I love the sheer thrill of this one. This is one of the most thrilling rides. I love going up and down super fast. I love that dropping feeling in my stomach. The music is fun. The view at the top is great. Just the fact that from the get-go, it's sheer adrenaline. Let's go. There's no waiting. It's like the opposite of the Tower of Terror, which I love the presentation of that, and it's, there's that hallway and all that, but this one is just pedal to the metal. Like, I love the different feel of it, and again, as someone who loves thrills, it makes sense. It's just sheer adrenaline. The queue is cool. It's fun. The fact that they even filmed a whole cutscene before it. The Rocket Raccoon animatronic is charming. All of it from start to finish is really great. Number 2 is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Truly a magnificent ride. All the hype was worth it. It's something where I'm like, I don't even want to spoil it, quote unquote, but it's like there's interactive elements of portions of the ride, and the technology involved is just awe-inspiring. There's a drop that I love. When you ride it for the first time, there were several moments where my jaw dropped. And I don't care about Star Wars at all. But as an experience, as a ride, it's truly, truly amazing. Rides like that make you go, this is why Disneyland is, their Imagineers, they're the best. They're absolutely the best. Like that. It's incredible. I have forgotten a ride. So I can't fucking believe this. There is one ride that obviously, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, is not on the list. And that's Grizzly River Run, which I love this ride. Probably number 11. It's a great ride. I love getting wet. There's fun drops, you know, splashes, and you're spinning around. And it's also a ride where you're usually with other people you don't know, but it's this fun kind of communal experience because, like, you're all just like, you know, some of us are laughing maniacally like me. Some of us are in terror, you know, screaming. Like, it's a fun bonding experience with strangers for a bit. But number 1 is Splash Mountain. Yeah, just animatronics are hilarious. I love the music. I love the creepiness of it all. And the you get soaked. You're laughing the whole time. I'm very curious what the new version will be like. I think the animatronics are going to look great. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I will miss the kitschiness and bizarreness of the original, but I also understand it's about time to update it. So yeah, that is my number 1 ride, Splash Mountain. That's all the rides, I think, unless I forgot another fucking ride, who knows. So my top 10 rides in California Adventure. I've compiled the top 10 lists for both parks separately. Number 10 for California Adventure is Soarin' Around the World. Then it would be Toy Story Midway Mania, Silly Symphony Swings, Goofy Sky School, Major's Junkyard Jamboree, Grizzly River Run, Incredicoaster, Pixar Pal A Round, Radiator Springs Racers, and Guardians of the Galaxy. And then the top 10 in Disneyland proper are Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Space Mountain, Peter Pan's Flight, I forget the order on that, something like that, Matterhorn, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, Indiana Jones Adventure, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, and Splash Mountain. Those are the 53 rides, oh boy, in Disneyland and California Adventure ranked. This list will change over time, you know, rides have definitely gone up and gone down for me. And, you know, there's gonna be some disagreements from you all. I don't care. I've been talking for about 50 minutes about Disneyland rides and messed up a couple times. I'm done now. But, yeah, that's my list. Bye-bye.